So what's up, Urban Acolyte fans, Star Wars fans, and all y'all out there? My name is Prince, and I'm an Urban Acolyte, and I got the man himself, Vincent Vendetta, the breaker of the YouTube algorithm. This guy posts Star Wars fan theories that completely shatter YouTube, and they all go viral. We're here to talk Star Wars, the Reylo fan theory that you guys have been asking me to talk about, and anything up that comes up while we have this interesting conversation. So what's up, man? I'm gonna shut up for a minute.
Hi, yeah, I'm happy to be here, and I'm always looking for excuses to talk about Reylo, so this is perfect.
Cool. So we'll just jump into it. So I watched the Reylo video back when you first posted it, and then I watched it again yesterday, and you really have a lot of information. But are you a fan of Reylo?
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of Reylo. Now, when I first heard about it, I think I just saw maybe like an article, didn't even really read it. I thought it was, it's like, that sounds, I thought it was like a fan fiction kind of thing, which is it. And then, I wasn't really that big of a fan. And then once I really started to look into it, because I wanted to make a video about it, like I became obsessed, like pretty much most people who start reading into it. And it's like, it's pretty much like all I live for now. It's like pretty much the main thing that I'm looking forward to when it comes to like The Last Jedi and 9.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. One of the things that I liked about your video was that you pointed out that there's a possible mirroring of the story from Knights of the Old Republic with Revan and Bastila, because that's something I said in a video last summer. As I said, look, Kylo Ren could turn out to be inspired by Revan, and Rey could be inspired by Bastila. It kind of makes sense, and they could get together, and you could end up with six movies just based on that relationship.
Right. And I don't know too much about it. I first heard about Revan and Bastila from Many Media. He made a video about them, that and Reylo, and from what I've read, they seem very similar. Definitely, like the Force bond that they have seems to be similar to what we're starting to see with Rey and Kylo.
Yeah, and Rey, I don't. This apologies if this is a spoiler. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. But from what I've been hearing, and I said this in last summer in videos, that the Forceback visions are going to tell Kylo Ren's backstory. So in 8, I think we're going to see, as Rey continues to have these Forceback visions and they become clearer, we're going to see how Kylo Ren fell, and I guess through his story, learn what led to that fall. So I'm starting to wonder, like, why is Rey having visions of Kylo Ren's history and not her own?
Exactly. We learned a little bit through her first Force vision about her past. Not too much, but that she was dropped off on Jakku. And now she's going to be learning about his, and who knows if he'll have a vision or not in The Last Jedi, who knows, right? But
right.
There seems to be a lot of focus on both of their backstories and like how they grew up and how they both were abandoned by their family. Right? Which is very important. It's like the most important thing about Rey is that she was abandoned by her family on Jakku, and the most important thing about Kylo Ren, story at least, is that he was abandoned by his family too. Leia was always working and whatnot, and dropped him off with Luke, and Han Solo, always stealing and doing whatever he's doing, smuggling and whatnot. So Kylo
and racing.
Pardon?
And racing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I start to want, because like Bloodline introduced. I don't have any notes in front of me, but it introduced like Leia's pilot, and then you learn that she was a racer that Han took under his wing, and then there's a short story in Star Wars Insider magazine that actually tells that story where she wins this race and Han like helps her win. I think it was like she was racing against an ex-boyfriend and the dude was like psycho, like basically I think he was trying to kill her during the race. Which is crazy, and Han like takes that guy out and gives her the go ahead to win the race. I'm under this impression that Han was always taking these racers under his wing. So I just in my little head canon, I kind of dreamed up this scenario that Ben wanted to be a racer. He wanted to be a pilot. And it's like, no, you got the Force and you need to go do Jedi stuff. We're going to send you off to Jedi camp. And all he really wanted was to race and fly whatever. We don't know what happened to the Millennium Falcon, but he wanted to, at some point, he was, a little kid flying on the Falcon. And that's what in my mind, that's what he wanted to do. And it's like, he didn't get to do it. And, it's like, oh, I have to go be this Jedi. And then, right. The whole, guess who grandfather really is? And that just kind of,
I completely agree. Definitely. I think that's probably what happened, because even with the deleted scene where he went into the cockpit of the Millennium Falcon and said Han Solo, and I saw some like artwork where like just some fan art where you see him as a child with Han Solo like on his lap, and Han Solo's teaching Ben how to fly. And yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And we're hearing a lot about him in The Last Jedi, about how he's probably an extremely good pilot, and he has like his own ship and whatnot. So yeah, I could see that definitely.
Yeah. That's I talked about that in the video that I'm editing to post later today. Is we saw the picture of his new ship in the pictures that came out yesterday on Entertainment Weekly. So we'll get to see him flex his skills in episode 8 as a pilot. That'll be cool. I'm trying to see the video again so I can raise some more points.
Well, just with that point, I feel like that's it. They're the fact that they were both abandoned by their families. Like, I'm going to be going into a lot more depth in part 2. So, like, I feel like that's what really is bringing them together, right? Because that's what they want. Their entire lives are just, like, trying to find a belonging and a family to be with, right?
Right.
And Rey started to get that with Han Solo, but obviously Han Solo's dead now, and maybe she's trying to get that with Luke, but as we're starting to see, Luke is kind of like a grumpy old man. I doubt that they're going to be getting along too well. They'll probably get along decently well, but he seems to be not the family that she's really longing for, and nobody really understands her like Kylo would, right? And she kind of understands Kylo about his being abandoned by his family, so it really brings them together.
Yeah, that was what I was getting ready to ask was, do you, and I don't want to spoil your video, but we could set it up here. Do you think that Rey was purposefully left on Jakku?
I don't know. What I assume happened is I think that her parents, so my guess is that her parents have been killed, and they're spoiler alert, like this, the whole thing's gonna be spoilers. So like there's in, I think it was an Entertainment Weekly thing or something, they said that she was an orphan, which orphan most of the time means that your parents are dead. Not all the time, but it pretty much does. So I think her parents are dead, and they were being chased by the First Order, by Luke, maybe, who knows. And they just ditched her last minute on the way out, because they knew they were about to get killed. So I think that's what happened.
Yeah. I've had those same feelings. I mean, I wasn't seriously pushing this, even though there were a couple of people who, you make videos and some people, oh yeah, this is definitely going to happen. But I made up this scenario where her parents were Thane Kyrell and Sienna Ree from Lost Stars. And I said, well, both of them basically defected from the Empire. Sienna Ree, not necessarily by choice, but because she was captured by the New Republic, and in the book end, she's incarcerated. But I figured she'd be free. Rey comes around 10 or 11 years later. So it's possible, but not like seriously, but if they come back into the public eye, I said, if her parents have ties to the Empire, it would make sense that they're being pursued by the First Order, and they drop her off on Jakku. Maybe they're looking for Luke Skywalker, who knows, and the First Order's coming after them, and they get taken out, and
it is a little weird that they dropped her off with Unkar Plutt, though, because of course he is aligned with the First Order. Although he is, he might be a little bit of he might be doing his own thing. He maybe doesn't take orders, but I don't know. He seems to be pretty aligned with the First Order, so that is a little weird. But who knows? Who knows what's going on?
Yeah, and then, with him being kind of the boss of Jakku, he could be working with someone who's First Order, and he not really know. It's like I'm working with this dude, and this dude knows a dude. This guy knows a guy, but I don't really know that I'm like working with the mafia. Like I kind of know, but I don't know.
Yeah,
could be one of those kind, because he didn't know about Palpatine's little excavation site. He sent some of his guys down there to investigate, and then they either didn't come back or they came back after they had their butts handed to them by stormtroopers that are still standing watch there. So yeah, but it is interesting that she gets dropped off there, and that was like where the Empire made their last stand, and Palpatine had his whole thing going on there, like his contingency plan. And then there's like this other stuff. There's like this Force Nexus or something there on the planet. Yeah. And then this weird religion that was there.
There's something going on Jakku for sure.
Yeah.
So there's probably more to the story on why they chose Jakku, definitely. And I just thought like maybe even like Unkar could have like a life debt with her parents or something, because he obviously doesn't like Rey, and he doesn't care about her at all. Like it seemed like he was doing a favor, in my opinion. So I could see him like just having a life debt that he's just fulfilling by reluctantly taking care of Rey. But yeah, there's definitely something going on Jakku. I mean, I'm forgetting his name right now, but what was the guy at the beginning of the movie who died?
Lor Santekka.
Yeah, like he's on the planet with the religious,
the Church of the Force.
Church of the Force. Yeah, I'm really tired. I know all those things, but I'm really tired now. But yeah,
it's okay. I go blank all the time.
Yeah. So, and who knows? I mean, he could be her dad. I mean, I doubt it, but he could be. Like,
it's
watching over her, or like a relative of some sort.
I think that there might be ties there. Like even her, at this point I wouldn't be surprised if her parents were members of the Church of the Force. They dropped her off with the intentions that she would end up there with the pilgrims in Tunnel Village, and I don't know. See, I have a big question mark about when Lor Santekka actually arrived on Jakku. I think that settlement was there before he got there, and that was one of the reasons he went to Jakku. I think that she's there and they're there, and there's not a coincidence. Of course, as far as storytelling goes, that's why BB-8 ended up there and then meeting in the first place. But I think that there's more to it than just, we did it for story reasons. Everything had to converge on Jakku.
If you haven't subscribed already, go ahead and click on that subscribe button so that you can take your first steps towards becoming an urban acolyte. Embark on the journey of becoming the hero of your own story and become a force for change in your community. Make sure to check out more videos from this channel, especially the one that YouTube has recommended for you. Anyway, that's all I got for this video. Thanks for watching. Y'all keep on breathing, and may the force of others be with you. Always.